A Trinidad and Tobago opposition legislator warns of a bombshell announcement that could shake governments. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, December 20th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. A senior member of Trinidad and Tobago's main opposition, United National Congress, is warning of revelations to come that could not only bring down the Dr. Keith Rowley administration, but affect other governments as well. Dr. Rudal Munilal has issued the caution in the face of a threat of legal action from Rowley. Last Friday, the Oropouche East MP made comments suggesting corruption on the Prime Minister's part in relation to payments made by AV Drilling, the company at the center of the so-called fake oil scandal. Munilal withdrew the comments, but by then they had been repeated on social media, and Rowley said he would take legal action against those who continue to spread what he called a patent falsehood. But far from backing down, Munilal says there is more to come. He says the UNC has a bombshell to release.
There are many more revelations to come out on the AV Drilling fake oil matter. This is a matter in which about 4 governments could fall. It has to do with money moving from Trinidad to other jurisdictions. It has to do with payments inside Trinidad and abroad. And there's a frightening revelation now that this could involve cases of money laundering. It could involve cases of money laundering on American soil.
An Antigua and Barbuda government senator at the center of a scandal involving the disappearance of almost 120,000 EC dollars is stepping down. Senator Michael Freeland said his resignation takes effect on December 31. The issue which prompted him to call it quits stems from the proceeds of an auction which he conducted in his private capacity as an auctioneer on behalf of the Customs Department. After the auction, the monies were not immediately handed over. But Freeland is insisting that there was no impropriety and that the Customs Department was advised of circumstances beyond his control which prevented him from handing over the proceeds immediately and in full. The government legislator further contended that following discussions with the Customs Department, it was agreed he would pay in installments in an approved time frame, and he disclosed that he has paid up completely. Freeland said he was concerned about the intense efforts by political opponents to politicize the situation, and he suggested that he was making the decision to step down in the best interest of the ruling Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Freeland said, and I quote, "I am sure there will be days in the future where I will regret making this decision, but I will take comfort in knowing that I was a true team player and that for a team to win and for the higher purpose to be achieved, one's self-interest must be subordinated to that of the team." End of quote. Workers at the National Water and Sewerage Authority in Grenada have taken industrial action to force the state-owned company to offer permanent employment to contract workers, some of whom have been on the job for more than 25 years. President of the Technical and Allied Workers Union, Andre Lewis, says the aim of the pre-Christmas strike is to press for a resolution to the long-standing issues. The union had given the water company NOASA a December 15 deadline to settle the matter. In a statement last week, NOASA said it remained committed to the regularization of its workers and is ready to do so once the current process that is in train has been completed. The company added that employees who meet the established criteria should have their status regularized at the expiration of their current contract, but it failed to give those expiration dates. The company said the union's position of effecting permanency from the date of the first contract is unreasonable and unsustainable, but it said it hopes both sides can come to a fair and realistic solution in the interest of the employees and the organization. Earlier this month, the Technical and Allied Workers Union warned several businesses in Grenada that it would be stepping up its efforts in regularizing workers at their operations, and they called the month Red December. The Jamaica government on Wednesday entered another round of wage negotiations with representatives of the island's teachers and rank-and-file police officers. Meanwhile, the meeting followed a disappointing round of talks last week, which saw the Jamaica Teachers Association and the Jamaica Police Federation rejecting the latest wage offer from the government. The government maintains it is only able to pay a 6% increase over 2 years. Its latest offer was a 4% increase in the year 1 and the other 2% in year 2 instead of the previous 3% increase in each year. On Tuesday, National Security Minister Robert Montague appealed to rank-and-file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to abandon any plans to embark on a strike after being made aware of messages urging cops to take industrial action on December 23rd. He appealed to cops to allow the wage negotiations to take place without any disruption to public safety.
They are in the midst of a negotiation, and when parties are at the table negotiating, no side can put a gun or pressure or a big stick to the other side. The nature of negotiation is to stay at the table. It is our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters that will be left to the mercy of the criminal elements if police officers walk out. As Jamaicans, I urge all rank-and-file members to report for duty.
The Jamaica Teachers Association is also threatening to take action if there is no improvement in the wage negotiations. While not saying what action the teachers will take, the association's president, Georgia Waff Richards, says they are not pleased with how the process has been handled.
It is therefore important that at this time the government recognizes that things cannot remain the same, and that the teachers are expecting that their business, the business of their wage negotiation, will be handled with much more respect and with much more seriousness. That unofficial communication has caused us to feel disrespected, to say the least. And therefore, come January morning, the story has got to change.
The International Monetary Fund is predicting economic growth of 1.6% for the Bahamas this year, following a prolonged period of stagnation. Senior economist in the IMF's Western Hemisphere Department, Fabian Valencia, said the economy will also grow 2.5% next year on the back of a strong United States economy, the phased opening of Bahamas, which has created 3,500 jobs so far, and foreign direct investment-related construction activity. He was speaking after an IMF delegation which he led ended a one-week visit to the Bahamas to review the latest economic developments and lay the groundwork for the 2018 Article 4 consultation expected to take place in March next year. Valencia said lifting growth in the medium term requires decisive action on structural reforms, particularly in the energy sector, and in improving the business environment. Still in the Bahamas, authorities on Tuesday expelled more than 150 Haitians caught attempting to enter the country illegally. This as the country continues to grapple with the problem of illegal migration, which is costing government millions of dollars annually. We get more in this report from Cleopatra Murphy of ZNS Network News.
Head of the enforcement unit, Kirkland Neely, says among those numbers were some of the 58 who landed off Clifton Pier last Tuesday.
Our intention is to try and see how low we could keep the numbers at the detention center, and in anticipation of any other boat landing or whatever you coming in, so we could keep the crowd at the detention center at a minimal.
2 busloads of Haitian migrants took the journey from the Carmichael Road Detention Center to the Lyndon Pindling International Airport. Before their departure, some 194 migrants were housed at the facility.
177 were Haitian national, and we had 14 people detained at Safe House, 12 Haitian national and 2 Jamaican national.
Haitians make up the largest number of immigrants housed at the facility, but for a while, Neely says a second nationality took the second spot.
Last year and year before last, we see increase in the Cubans, right? That has slowed down tremendously. So now we're back to the next largest is the Jamaican nationals, right? But we have a full share of different nationals. You have the Chinese, you have the Indians.
Currently, there are also Guyanese, Ugandans, Georgians, Dominicans, and Kenyans. Other nationalities previously detained include Sri Lankans. Housing and repatriating detainees is costly.
If the truth be told, if I look at direct different stuff like that, by the 5, 6, 7 months, we would have already exhausted over $1 million.
Depending on numbers at the detention center, Neely says immigration expects to conduct several more repatriations before the end of the year.
Haiti's former president, that's Prime Minister Jean-Max Bellerive, has been prevented from leaving the country by a judge who is probing a murder dating back to 2012. The investigating judge of the Court of First Instance of Port-au-Prince, Jean-Wilner Morin, issued the order preventing Bellerive from leaving the country. He had been scheduled to travel on Monday. In the order, the investigating judge said that the Director of Immigration and Emigration Service should take all necessary measures to prevent Bellerive from leaving the country by air, land or sea. The ban comes as the investigations continue into the assassination of Alex Mary Jr. Gasson in 2012 following the disappearance of Joseph Robert Marcello of the National Commission of Public Contracts. On May 14, 2011, Bellerive resigned as Prime Minister to allow the country's then new President Michel Martelly to choose his own Prime Minister. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, a referendum planned to move towards a solution to the long-standing border dispute between Belize and Guatemala. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Welcome to the gem of the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda.
A warm welcome awaits you at our state-of-the-art VC Bird International Airport.
I must say that Antigua is in wonderful shape. 5 minutes off the boat and we're already in paradise.
Antigua was not that damaged by the storm as much as Barbuda was. The hotels are still open, the beaches are still clean, and the people are still friendly.
With Antigua, it's the people that really await you.
Hurricane Irma may have hit a little bit, but you can't even tell that it was ever here. The beach is wonderful. I'm having a great time.
Everything is just as we remember. No storm damage.
We're here and we're open.
And we're better than ever.
I do a lot of destination weddings, and I see weddings that could happen here, and they would be in love with it.
I can't say enough about how in love with Antigua I am.
It is one nation, 2 islands, and I'm loving it.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
The Belize government says Guatemala is planning to hold a referendum in April next year as a step towards finding a solution to the long-standing border dispute between the two countries. Guatemala has been claiming the whole or part of Belize since 1940, and the referendum is designed to determine whether the territorial dispute should be taken to the International Court of Justice. Foreign Minister Wilfred Earlington met recently with his newly appointed Guatemalan counterpart Sandra Erica Jovel Polanco, and she indicated the referendum could be held next April.
To me, yes, that they want to have it in April. I think it's the 15th of April. I think the earlier date which they had set was too close to the Easter time, I think she said. But that they thought they would be able to do it at the 15th of April. So it is set for that, and it's being, of course, managed by the Supreme Electoral Tribunal in Guatemala, and they are doing the necessary education campaign, and they hope to be able to pursue it.
Earlington also confirmed that the two countries would go ahead with the plan to obtain funding from the international community to fund their education campaigns.
Guatemala needs it as much as Belize. And so she said, yes, she thinks that we should continue with that initiative. I indicated to her that we, in fact, had been doing education campaign for some time, and in the last budget, we had gotten more money than before, so we were able to be doing even more this continuous education. So I think we settled on the idea that we will try to do as much as we can to raise funds. To that end, we were going to engage the Secretary General of the OAS to ask him to try to set up meetings with a group of friends so that we can make our pitch for the increased funding.
The British Virgin Islands government says it is paying an estimated $13,000 a month to house 21 inmates brought there following the passage of two hurricanes through the Lesser Antilles in September. The minister responsible for prisons, Myron Walren, told the House of Assembly that the prisoners are expected to be in St Lucia for at least 6 months, with their return home expected in March next year. He said the money will be paid to the St Lucia government every month to keep the BVI inmates until prison facilities are repaired. Walren, in response to questions from the parliamentary opposition, said he was not aware of any assistance being given to defer the cost at this time. While he projects that repairs will be completed by March, Superintendent of Prison David Foote told BVI News last week that the repairs might take much longer. Earlier this month, St. Lucia's National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis said he hoped the prisoners who were taken to St. Lucia following the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria are not a financial burden on the state. A 4.9 magnitude earthquake jolted two Caribbean islands during the early hours of Wednesday morning. According to the Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies, the quake occurred at 13 minutes after midnight. It was felt in Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada. The Seismic Research Center says the quake occurred 51 kilometers northwest of Scarborough in Tobago and 108 kilometers north-northeast of Arima in East Trinidad. It was also detected 99 kilometers southeast of St. George's, Grenada. It had a depth of 10 kilometers. There were no immediate reports of personal injuries or damage to infrastructure. And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies lose the first ODI in the 3-match series against New Zealand. The details of that story and more sports after this break. Stay with us.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Come, sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
New Zealand defeated West Indies by 5 wickets despite bold half-centuries from opener Evan Lewis and lower-order batsman Rovman Powell in the opening one-day international of the 3-match series on Wednesday. Sent in at Cobham Oval, the Windies were led by the left-handed Lewis, who top-scored with 76 off 100 deliveries, and Powell, who struck 59 off 50 balls. Lewis and Chris Gale added 40 for the first wicket before Gale and Shea Hope fell in successive deliveries at the start of the 10th over from seamer Doug Bracewell to leave West Indies on 44-2. With the pressure immediately on the Windies bowlers, they proved loose early on, allowing opener George Wilkes to post a career-best 57, while Ross Taylor stroked an unbeaten 49 and Colin Munro 49. Captain Kane Williamson chimed in with 38 as the Black Caps eased to victory with 24 balls remaining. Captain Jason Holder and Ashley Nurse picked up 2 wickets each. Staying with cricket, Barbados' opposition leader Mia Mottley has lambasted the Stuart administration for missing out on a golden opportunity after it failed to make its bid for the finals of the ICC Women's World Cup. The world-famous Kensington Oval was in line to host the November 2018 affair, but government did not meet its commitment to the ICC. Speaking at a recent press conference, Mottley described the missed opportunity as unfortunate.
Not to be prepared to offer a government guarantee that would give the government no greater exposure than $300,000 or $400,000 US in respect to the waiver of fees for the teams that would be participating, arranging for their being appropriately met at the airport. For them to refuse to provide that written guarantee in spite of repeated requests by the Barbados Cricket Association is really a most unfortunate state of events. We can do better because we are better than this. And what it would have cost government is minimal in comparison to what they're spending at the Bridgetown Port, to what they're spending in the Ministry of Housing, to what they're spending otherwise arbitrarily across all other ministries. And this is about priorities.
Football's continental governing body, CONCACAF, has announced an expansion to the Caribbean Club Championship, adding a second tier which will see 12 amateur clubs vying for a place in the CONCACAF League and Championship League. The first tier of the championship will comprise 8 professional clubs from Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and will kick off January 31 next year. Tier 2, meanwhile, will see a club each from Grenada, Aruba, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis, Suriname, Cayman Islands, Guadeloupe, Curacao, Bonaire and Martinique doing battle from April next year. Jamaica's Arnett Gardens FC and Portsmouth United TNT's Central FC and W Connection, along with Haiti's Racing FC and Real Hope and Atletico FC and Club Atletico Pajota, of the Dominican Republic will be the 8 clubs contesting Tier 1. W Connection FC and Atlantico FC will play host to 2 4-team round-robin groups, with the 2 group winners and the 2 second-place finishers advancing to the final stage later in the year. The overall winners qualified directly for the Championships League. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago's women's footballers have intensified their training as they prepare for next year's CONCACAF Under-20 Championship in the Twin Island Republic. January 18 to 28 affair will see TNT going up against 7 teams, which include Haiti and Jamaica, for a chance to qualify for the FIFA World Cup in France in August. Head coach Jamal Shabazz says he intends to exploit the Christmas break to ensure the girls are ready for January.
Well, this is by no means a holiday period for the senior and under-20 women's team. It's an opportunity for us to get all our players together, the foreign base and the local base, and get some quality training time. And we've been doing that. The under-20s are in camp, and the seniors are at it 5 days a week. So we're really pushing some work now and using that downtime that they have from the schools overseas to really get our act together.
Overseas-based players have teamed up with the locally based players in practice session with the hope of becoming part of the final 11 on match day. Shabazz says he's happy to see the level of intensity coming from players.
Well, the U20s have been very competitive with each other, fighting for a spot on the team. The intensity is there. We were fortunate to get the GPS heart rate monitors borrowed from the senior men's team, so we're able to monitor the intensity of the work, the quality of the work, and the rest and the recovery periods. You know, it's a joy right now working with them, and you know, we singing, we wish it could go on forever, because now the training has a lot more meaning, a lot more purpose, and the girls are competing very, very, very well and taking things in stride.
Coach Shabazz says the group is expected to increase over the next few days, but he says the squad will have little time to rest.
28 players of the 28, but 7 of them are foreign base. Come Boxing Day, 2 more foreign base will join us, and then in January we have 1 more foreign base to join us as well. So we're going to break on Saturday, the 23rd, and then we're going to resume training on the 27th, the day after Boxing Day.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Just say goodbye. Again, the major development of this day, a senior member of Trinidad and Tobago's main opposition warns of revelations to come that could not only bring down the Dr. Keith Rowley administration, but affect other governments as well. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and do have yourselves a good night.